Introducing our next speaker, we have Professor Dr. Ruby Bakshi Khurdi. She's doctorate in Business Administration, Human Resource Management, award-winning international motivational speaker, leadership coach, and trainer. Dr. Ruby Bakshi Khurdi is a highly acclaimed speaker on emotional intelligence and women empowerment in the global market. Recently, she was awarded an inspiring educationist and author by the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir at Sher-e-Kashmir Agricultural University, Srinagar. She is the only verified Kahoot educator in Switzerland and popularly known as Kahoot Professor by her students. Her teaching style focuses on gamification and perceptual learning. That's what we need right now. She is a recipient of many national and international awards for conducting successful workshops across the world in London, Bahrain, Amsterdam, India, Nepal, China, Paris, Portugal, and Prague. In Switzerland, she has conducted highly successful training sessions at UN, Geneva, Good Festival in Lausanne, Nestle Veve, and Science Congress in Zurich. During challenging times of COVID-19, she participated in various webinars, conducted live masterclasses, and talk shows to motivate people across the world. She is frequently seen sharing her expertise on topics like education, communication, leadership, public speaking, empowerment, stress management, and practicing resilience. She firmly believes education and communication are strong pillars in developing a progressive nation. Her family and 2 kids have always been her priority. She is a role model and mentor to various international students from business and hospitality management colleges. She received a standing ovation for her first TEDx talk titled Learning Human Values via Emotional Intelligence. She is always looking for creative ways to connect with her students. She is a very passionate person with a vision to educate people with life skill and connect emotionally towards building a creative society. Her selfless contribution towards education and society have been recognized by World Book of Records UK. She featured on cover page of Elite Businesswoman magazine, The Ambassador, Career Beacon as 50 Elite Exemplary Women, Swiss Star in the Explore Journal, and Wow India. She has been interviewed on Doordarshan Kashmir, Swiss Radio, Swiss RTS, and various international magazines as a global inspirational educationist creating an impact. She wants to leave a rich legacy in education. She has been working consistently since few years to make her vision a reality. So the title of her talk is Practicing Emotional Intelligence in Education. So with this, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Ruby Bakshi Khurdi onto the stage. Thank you.
Namaskar everyone. Thank you so much for wonderful introduction. I was floored. Kept on listening and I felt let the music go on. So good afternoon everyone. I hope you had a good meal. In India as we say, pehle pet puja, fir kaam dooja. Which means once your stomach is filled, now you're ready to go for another some time with a happy face because the stomachs are filled, so we are happy to look forward to coming presentations. So I would just request, fasten your seat belts now because I'm going to take you through the journey of emotional intelligence. And yes, when we say emotional intelligence, the very first thing that comes to the mind is what is emotional intelligence? These are some of the things that we are going to discuss today. And of course, when I say what is emotional intelligence, that's a big question we ask ourselves, are we emotionally intelligent? I don't think there's anyone in the room who would say, I'm not intelligent, because we all think ourselves, we are intelligent, we are the best, we are cool. In here, I'm also going to discuss with you some of the components that define EI, that is emotional intelligence, in the world of AI, that is artificial intelligence. It's very important, especially now when we're talking about virtual reality. When we are talking about artificial intelligence, we have to have a very clear understanding of EI, that is emotional intelligence. I'm going to be talking about self-awareness, self-regulation, and of course, how to develop self. The eminent speakers just before me, they talked about consciousness. I will also be talking about that, but in a little different manner, how we can talk about now in the field of education and something which is more prevalent for the younger generation, which I see some of the kids over here, so I would be happy that you participate with me. We are also going to talk about how EI can be practiced in the real world, because just talking doesn't do anything. When we talk, we just don't have to make noise, we have to make noise here. It should make noise here, that is logically, and here, that is your heart. Because when you do any business, we always say, business is something that you have to think well, logically, and then take the step. Yes, I get a good feeling, I'm gonna make good money in this business. And that's how you can practice EI in the real world. We're also going to be talking about EI in classrooms. For some of the kids who are here, I would be very happy to share what you can do to be emotionally intelligent in the class. And of course, how personal growth and interpersonal relationships play a very, very important role if you think or evolve as a person. Because each one of us wants to grow. It's totally up to us how we grow, what we do, and what we don't do. We are always emphasizing in every society, whether it's European, whether it's Indian, African, any society across the world, we always want our kids, we always want our people to do well. You have to be successful. You have to do this. You have to do that. But do you ever ask the person whom you are telling what he or she wants to do? We are also going to talk about my theory, that is Ruby's 3E theory. It was during COVID. I happened to be an author by accident. It was not planned. I wrote my very, very first book and it was published, and it became like a Bible for people in virtual world, because we all know how to express ourselves sometimes in front of the people. I can see you. Some people are smiling, some people are nodding their head, what I'm telling, some people are thinking. I can read your faces very well standing here. But when we are in the virtual world, just when we had a Zoom presentation with one of the speakers, Mr. Rajgopalji, he was speaking and so were we listening. But whether we understood everything or not, that was a question mark. So in my book, I talk about the 3E theory in detail on what it is and how you can connect with your audience in virtual world. Then the challenges on how to overcome them, because it's true right now we are in a real world, but sometimes we have to go to virtual world as well, because now that's the new mantra. The new mantra everywhere, work from home, work from anywhere in the world, which you don't need to have all the amenities with you. If you have your laptop, you're good to go anywhere. And of course, in the last we'll have Q&A. Hopefully we'll have time for that. So defining what is emotional intelligence. If I ask you sitting over here, how are you feeling now? I just want one word from everyone. What do you think you're feeling right now? Happy, excited, confused, tired? What are the one words that describes your emotion? Come on. Excited. Attentive. Very good. Thank you, Anupma. Something else? Curious. Yes. Anticipation. Yes. These are some of the emotions that everyone is going through, because when we are talking about emotional intelligence, the first thing that comes to mind is that each one sitting in here has something to give. And when we say emotional intelligence, it is the connection with oneself first. You need to understand your own emotions first. And when you understand your own emotions, you're able to connect with emotions of other people in the room. It's okay now? Yeah. So when we say emotional intelligence, it's very, very important to understand the three elements that define it loud and clear. Once you're at peace, when we talk about mantras or when we talk about chanting, once you are with peace with what you are doing, automatically you start becoming comfortable with how things are happening at workplace. So when we say 3E or when we say emotional intelligence, it's very important to understand the components that define and explain emotional intelligence loud and clear. And having said that, emotional intelligence can make you understand very well on the basis of two main competencies: personal competency and social competency. When we say personal competency, it is something that we all know ourselves. We know how we are as a person. We know that right now we have to sit through the presentation, so we are self-aware of each other. People next to me, people right and left. We are all aware about what is happening here. Once you are aware of your personal being, it's normal that you start managing yourself better. It's like if you want to do something, you are consciously taking that step. I want to do it, right? You are accountable for it. But when something is thrust upon you, let's say you don't want to take a specific career, you didn't get a job. In Switzerland, it's very difficult to get a job. I think everyone would agree to it. So when you don't get a job, you end up taking a job that is available. Unfortunately, for you at that time, because you are not ready for that job. But fortunately, you think, okay, at least I have a job, at least I have something to support my family. So that's self-awareness. And doing things consciously is your self-management. It's like bit by bit, step by step, you start doing things that help you understand what I need to do and how I need to do. And it has been seen when you're successful as a person, when you're successful as whatever profession you are in, you need some social recognition. We are all sitting over here in a temple, peaceful place, having this summit. We are all enjoying. But at the same time, when you are happy, you want to share it with your loved ones. And that's what is social awareness together with social management. I want to just see your hands. How many of you are active on social media? Just raise your hands. You don't have to say anything. Just raise your hands high up. How many of you are active on social media? Okay. If I say active on social media, what is one word that comes to your mind? Why are you active? Why do you want to have a social media presence? Connections. Very good. Something else? Purpose. You have a purpose. Yes. Something else? Awareness. Exactly. You want to be aware of certain things that are happening in some part of the world. Yes. Informations. Exactly. These are key words that definitely help you to connect sitting in Switzerland in any part of the world. So once you are connected, automatically you start feeling, I know it. Even if you know a little bit, tiny bit, but you feel, yes, I know it because you read about it. Sitting in the room, reading presentations, reading books, which are now also, we have digital copies, so you don't really have to buy a hard copy. You can just buy a soft copy. So once you have these connections socially, you also start becoming more and more aware by reading, by having social connections. And if you are really very happy on social media, it also helps you evolve as a person because you read and see how other people are doing, what other people are doing. No one would evolve just by sitting and reading a book. Sometimes you need to connect to understand who is doing what. And how can I be like him? You have to have role models. And you can only have role models if you read and understand what others are doing and they're doing better than you. When I say self-awareness, one has to keep his or her eyes and ears open. Because only when you are aware, once you have, like, as Shiva has a third eye, okay? We don't have a third eye, but sometimes we have that gut feeling that gives us a kick. Yes, this is it. Go for it. And that's what defines over here. When self-awareness, if you just read the literal definition, is the ability to understand and be aware of your own thoughts. Recognize your own thoughts. So once you are having your own awareness, what am I doing well? What am I not doing well? You move step forward. You take a step forward. But once you are aware, once you are very happy and content in your space, you understand the things, automatically you keep on going, keep on going. It doesn't mean you have to have a specific age, you have to have specific experience. We have seen in history, we have read in books that age is not a parameter anymore. If you have the knowledge, if you have the sense, if you have something to share phenomenal with the world, it doesn't need just your age or experience, it just comes and it flows. So when I say self-awareness, it is something, once you are comfortable in your own shoes, you want to connect with other people. You want to give it back to the society. There are so many of us, we understand things well, but when it comes to giving, we hesitate. Am I doing the right step? Is it something which is good? Is it something which is not good? So coming from India, I'll just narrate a small example. Coming from India when I came, in a male-dominated higher education society, I felt a bit uncomfortable. I wasn't feeling very sure whether I am okay or not okay. Having said that, now it's been a journey, but having said that, when I remember that time, sometimes I would feel like crying. Sometimes I would feel like, to the world I am in the happiest place, in the best place, but to me I am not, because I was feeling very lonely. I was feeling very, I would say, I was self-doubting wherever I come. To the world, I am cool, I am happy, but to myself, I wasn't happy. And this I couldn't even share with my parents who have given me birth. I couldn't even share with them that I'm not happy. I miss them. I miss India. I miss the things that were keeping me connected to my roots. Because here, I did not understand the language. Even if I had a clear conscience, but it was very, very difficult for me to connect. And of course, being a woman, also in the beginning, I was not very comfortable because I wanted to make an impact, I wanted to connect with the people, but because of the difference in the society there and the society here, it made me confused. So some of the professors who were very comfortable, they would always smoke with the students outside during breaks. They would go out after drinks, after studies, they would go out. But for me, I was like, are they doing it because they want extra grades? Or are they doing because they are comfortable doing these kind of activities? So for me, it was very, very difficult to understand and regulate the scenario. But with passage of time, I kind of became comfortable how and what needs to be done to be having a complete control of the situation, and that's self-regulation. Because when I received my very first evaluation, it was showing it was not very great, even though I was giving my lessons very well, but the evaluations didn't show. And I was like, what went wrong? And the thing was, I was not being self-aware. I was not keeping my eyes and ears open because I'm in a new world. I'm in a new place. I need to take the first step. They are not going to come to me. I have come to this country, so I need to make the first step to be comfortable and understand them. So these are some of the strategies which are really very helpful, which I'm sure if you even identify with 3 or 4 are really at peace. Focus, which is a must now, especially when we are in a world where everyone is into multitasking. All the mothers, especially all the working women over here, I'm sure they might agree with me. Of course, you're absolutely okay if you don't agree, you're okay to not agree, but they will agree with me that we are multitasking all the time. And in that, we are not able to do one thing the best way, So it's very, very important. Do the things, keep time, and at the same time, you have to make sure that you are being mindful of your actions. Even if you're doing something small, make sure you give it your best thought. Because if you are doing something, meditation, yoga, feedback, constant feedback, whether it's with your family, whether it's with your children, whether it's at workplace, whichever scenario we think about, it's very, very important that you need to have a clear understanding and keep on being mindful at all possible situations. Now I'm going to talk about emotional intelligence in the real world. And when I say in the real world, it is very important when you're working, how you can emphasize on the key factors. In order to perform or in order to be a good leader, first you should know how to listen. When we are given a microphone, everyone likes to talk. But that's not it. You need to talk that it's making some sense, that the audience is agreeing with you. It's hitting you somewhere, either here or anywhere. It's hitting you. And when it hits you, you're like, okay, I want to follow this person. I want to be like him. I want to be like her. And that's what is very important in terms of when you're a businessman, the main idea is profit maximization and cost minimization. how you can do that. In India it's called Baniya, or in India it's called think like a Baniya, or think like a Gujarati or a Marwari, because that makes thinking much, much faster, because when you use that language, you click with the audience instantly. And of course, when you focus on these small things, it definitely leads to increased personal well-being. When you see people are connecting with you, when you see people are agreeing with you, automatically you evolve as a person. Who would think a girl coming from India here, at one point of time I was a very, very timid person. We had a classroom, and in a class of 50 people, I would always hide behind my friends so that the teacher could not see me to read an article or to read a book. And when I would read the book, believe me, my hands would shake and my eyes would be watery, because I would get so scared that, oh my God, everyone is looking at me. And when you are in the spotlight, you can't afford to make a mistake. But that's what is wrong, and that's where I differ. Doesn't matter whether you are the spotlight or you are at the second right or third right. You are human beings and you have the right to make mistakes. Do not be afraid to make mistakes, because only when you make mistakes, you are going to make a better version next time. You need to learn from your mistakes. There's no competition. Be your self-critique. Competition apne se rakho, not with the other person. Always see your image in the mirror and see how you can make it better. Here I've just shared with you an example how you can also practice EI in a classroom. In a classroom, deliberately I've chosen a auditorium kind of a classroom where it's very difficult to know even the name of the people. Sometimes it's just a roll number. But how a professor can connect is by choosing the things, or by talking the things that the audience or the learners agree. So share with your learners, surprise your learners, or come up with things that they are not prepared of. Surprise them. So that if you are like, if I throw a ball, I'm not going to throw a ball, but if I throw a ball, automatically I'll see some people in the audience would try to catch it, right? It's normal, because that's your reflex section. You want to do it because you don't want to mix the chance of holding the ball. And that's when I say it's very important for your personal growth as a person, as a human being, being able to accept criticism and responsibility. It totally lies in your hand. It's not something, no test, nothing. It's not an essay test. It's totally in your hands how you move on by making a mistake and not get stuck to it. I say that, but sometimes I get stuck. And then my daughter says, come on, move on. You're the one talking about EI, but you're stuck yourself. So of course, practice what we preach. That's also very important, because when we are able to say things that mean a lot to us, we will be able to emphasize it better. And of course, we live in a society, we can't please everyone. Even we try to do our best, holding this beautiful summit, inviting people, going on social media, telling them to come, whether virtual or real. We did our job. Whether we did well, whether we did not so well, it's not something to be decided by just few people sitting here. It's you who decides. You come to know whether it was good or not. At the same time, learn to say no. You should be in a position to say no. Don't be in a habit of pleasing everyone, because you can't be a pleaser. You can't please everyone. And of course, when sometimes you need to, just say something, shut it out of the system, it's also very important. So it's okay not to be okay sometimes. Okay, please mark my words. It's okay not to be okay sometimes, because you can't be in a smiley face all the time. You can't be in a happy state all the time. Sometimes we all want to cry. Sometimes we all want to sulk. Sometimes we all want to be angry. So do not hide from these emotions, because these are just a part of evolving yourself as a person. And of course, the more you evolve, the more you'll be able to solve small, minuscule problems in life. Benefits of developing emotion intelligence. As I said, these are the 3 core benefits which I think. Of course, there will be many, many, many more. But these are the 3 things which is very important, especially now when we talk about mental awareness, mental health issues. If a person is sick, as we have said that in the past also, if someone is sick, We see that it's physical, there is a bruise, it's blue, it's swollen, person is not able to walk well, he's struggling, you see all these things because these are physical things which are visible to the eyes. But certain things, when people are struggling, shaky hands, or not knowing, having control on your hands, on your limbs, you start shaking your head, or some part of your body shaking because you can't control it, because you're nervous, or because there's something that you want to share, but you're not able to share. These are some of the things which only you know, because it's your mental state of mind. We try to please, we try to smile, because we are in a social world. We are living in a society where we have to show everything is okay, peace, even though it's not. So it's important when sometimes you need to fight with yourself. That's an interpersonal conflict, intrapersonal conflict that's happening within you. Fight that battle. Fight with yourself first, because only when you are able to fight with yourselves better, you will have the energy to fight with others who are the real people, the real world, who is always looking for acting as a critique to show you that you are not doing this well or you're not doing that well. So it's very important, take charge. You need to take charge, because only when you take charge, you will be able to find solutions. You will be able to find any conflict that comes up, whether it's intrapersonal, interpersonal, intra-organizational, or inter-group conflict, which is very normal. When we are working in teams, it's normal to have conflicts. And having said that, I am a person who encourages a lot of conflicts as well. And when I say encourages conflict, doesn't mean in a wrong way. Bit of healthy conflict is always good. Imagine if I say, is it okay? And everyone is always saying, okay. Are we growing? Yes or no? Because if everyone is in a state of agreement, then there is no challenge. And that's why it's very important. And that's what I've talked about in my 3E theory in my book, where I talk about the 3 pillars, which are very, very important to be highly comfortable with yourself. Educate, empathize, and empower. And this you can use in any context. I use that with my students a lot, but you can use that in any context. If you are able to educate your minds, and with education I don't mean the books or bookish education or university education. Education is the education of life, how to live life. Teaching our children the good and bad, good values, bad values, both. You have to give examples of both. Teaching your son how to be a good husband, teaching your son how to respect women, and at the same time teaching your daughter, say no when it is too much. Do not say yes to everyone to please everyone. And when I say empathize, it's like if you are the boss and you're always giving orders, do this, do that. I want this in 2 days. I want it in 3 days. Of course they will do it. They're your employees. But the result may not be phenomenal because they're not doing something which is a win-win. And the last one, which says here, empower. When I say empower, it simply means what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. Give resources. You're not just empowering a person by just talking, I want results. You're empowering a person by giving him or her the resources. Resources in terms of money, vitamin M, that's what I say to my students all the time. Resources in terms of enough things, the things that are necessary to get the work done. As an entrepreneur, you can get work done by just showing off, I have so much money, do this. But if you're not giving them enough funds, if you're not giving them enough time and people, then it may or may not be enough. So these are 3 things which I talk a lot about, and also I have mentioned that in my book. And if you are interested, the book is called How to Engage Learners in a Virtual Learning Environment. That's my first sole book, which I have written so far. If you want, it's available. I can also offer you the book after the talk is over. Moving on, the challenges. Of course, when we are doing something, it's very, very important that the work doesn't come to an end without certain challenges. And when we say challenges, any challenge is not sufficient or any challenge is not complete until we don't understand how to do it and when to do it. So the 5 W's. Can I listen if anyone is aware the 5 W's and H? when, exactly. What, when, where, why. So if we are able to answer these 5 W's, it will automatically lead us to the H, that is how to do it, right? So in here, when we are met with any challenge, it is a challenge to face a challenge, but you have to accept the challenge, right? If you accept the challenge, automatically you will move forward, and of course you will develop as a person. But if you're afraid of the challenge, you are hiding back, you're hiding behind someone, oh, I don't want to, I don't want to, you keep on pushing it back, of course it's not going to be a successful one. So you have to be prepared of the challenges, you need to take them, whether it's a cultural challenge, whether it's an emotional challenge, or it's a barrier, it's a bias. Something, I just don't like people from this country, I don't like people from that country, or I don't like men with long hair. There could be many, many things. And recently I also talked about when people are judging other people just by the clothes that they wear, or just by the ethnicity. These are some of the things which we are very comfortable saying, I don't like it. But the idea, the question is why you don't like it, and you need to find it. I've just mentioned some of the theories over here. Wait. How to overcome these challenges. Of course, when we say how to overcome these challenges, it looks very, very phenomenal that, go for it. You have a question, just do it. But it's very important coming to talk or understanding in terms of listening. Listening is one skill. It looks very simple, but listening is one skill which can definitely make you evolve as a person. In the haste of speaking, in the haste of making a statement, guys, it's really time that we need to listen. Listen to your inner voice. Only if you listen to your inner voice, rest is a history. If a girl, I always say that to all my students and all my friends who take public speaking courses with me, it's just a matter of time. You can do anything if you listen to your inner voice and at the same time appreciate the people who are there with you in that journey. Do not forget to appreciate the people who are there with you in that journey, because the more you do, the more you evolve. The more you evolve, the better you will see. And the better you will see, the better person you will make. Because it's very important. Remember, that's what I say to everyone. It's very, very important. If you evolve as a person, nothing is going to stop you. Very recently, I became the LinkedIn top voice. I didn't expect that. I would just share information what I'm doing in the classes with people. And it was a surprise when I received the letter from LinkedIn Top Voice that you are having a deep influence on lots and lots of people. The algorithms say so. I'm not a science person, so I don't know about algorithms. I'm a person who connects with people. I always feel if you connect, you have won half the battle. So I am always appealing everywhere, wherever I go, whichever country I have been to, that if you practice emotional intelligence in the world of artificial intelligence, you are definitely going to stay, you're definitely going to rock your personality. It's very important, and when I say rock your personality, it's in terms of being, evolving as a person consistently. Learning doesn't change, learning doesn't happen in one day. It's a consistent process. Keep working on yourself. The more you work, the more you will evolve. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a wonderful, wonderful talk. Maybe you need that to answer questions. Yeah. And I can say that you connected very well with us, with all of us. So if anyone has any question, yes.
Thank you so much for this very empowering talk. Madam, correct me if I am wrong and if I have understood well. During that phase when we were talking about the personal growth and interpersonal relationship, if someone is going through a deep traumatic phase in her life, where the emotional intelligence has suffered a lot or has gone deeply down, then in the community of this competitive world, a second party doesn't know what one is going through. How would you cope with the situation, madam?
Thank you very much for the question. It's a very, very pertinent question. I think a lot of us sitting in this room will agree to it. Yes, sometimes it's a lot. We go through a lot and we don't know where to stop or how to take it anymore. So I would suggest when we are in this scenario, take charge. You have to take charge. It might take some time, but you need to take charge. You need to evolve and say to yourself, it will pass. Keep on giving that reassurance to yourself from time to time. It's just a phase, it will pass. Because there are people, as I said, you can't be a people pleaser. So there are people who will keep on talking. Arey, she doesn't know this. Oh, what does she know? You know, those kind of things. Don't get let down by those kind of talks. These are just testers. Even gods, even our gods, if you see in Indian philosophy, even our gods have been to criticism. They have been through lot. So stories tell you, even when gods were not, able to live life peacefully, you are a human. So accept those things as a passing phase and try to push it. It might take long. I don't say that it's just with a flip of a second it will go. It will take long, but give yourself that boost that it will pass by very quickly. If you want to cry, as I said, I used to cry in the toilet sometimes because I was so frustrated. Some of the very good proposals, some of the very good projects were taken away from me because I was young. At that time, I didn't speak the language and I was a woman. So I knew that I can break the glass ceiling one day if I believe in myself. So I just keep on pushing. I kept on pushing myself. So I would just tell you as well, or anyone who has faced that, push yourself, do not give up. Life has challenges, life has hassles, but take each step like a baby step and it will go, it will pass.
Thank you. More question? Yeah.
Hi. Thanks for the lovely presentation. I have a question which I usually face from my kid sitting next to me. The question is, again, about emotional intelligence. The question is, when she is given a task or asked a question or she has any thought, she always gets a second thought from somewhere contradicting from the first thought where she wants to do something. So it's like negative and positive, or it's dilemma point where she is not aware what is right, what is wrong, which should I be focusing on, which should I do, not to do. So any hints about that?
Thank you for the question. I think, Mr. Shah, it's very, very important when we are having this kind of dilemma. We need to understand what are the other options available. It's normal in life, everyone has some dilemma at some point of time. But give it a chance and weigh both sides of the coin. Do not take a decision in a haste, because it's normal, the generation, like you said, your daughter asked that question. So the present generation Z is like that. They want instant gratification. I want this, I want that. They are not patient. If you see, our parents, our grandparents were more patient. They did not study so much. They did not have so much academic qualification as much as they had life education. And it's only with passage of time when you teach your children, especially the younger generation, that they need to be little consistent and they need to be keeping their eyes and ears open, not just on the digital devices, but also by reading. So spending time with the family, I think, will always help. That's what I do, and I always try to do with my own children. I just don't say for the heck of saying, and I'm saying it with my own experience, that whenever your kid is in dilemma, tell him or her to discuss with you, discuss with the people of their age as well, and at the same time, give them also a chance to understand and take a decision. Whether they take a right decision or wrong decision, then they are accountable for it. But please give that weightage, give that value to your child, that we value you and we respect your decision as well. So with passage of time, he or she will know whether it was a good decision or not, and things will evolve. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So with this, I think we'll conclude. If you have more questions, as said before, you'll get a chance to interact with the speakers at the end of the event. So a big round of applause for Professor Dr. Rubibakshi Khurdi for her amazing presentation. Thank you so much. I hope it brought a lot of value to all of us. Thank you so much.